That bearing's destroyed. What's up YouTube, Crafting Cars here, happy Tuesday. Now today's video, we're going to be working on that LSD. I'm going to be moving everything over from my GSR differential, swapping it over to my Integra Type R LSD, and maybe plopping it back in the transmission. It's going to be a little later upload today because when I got home from work I had a long day and I passed out and went right to bed, so I wasn't able to upload at 7 in the morning. But I got some sleep now. I'm still a little groggy, so to get my energy up I went to McDonald's and got myself a caramel frappe. They really get me going. I'm not really a coffee drinker, but I am an ice cream drinker. All right, we're back. So the tool I'm gonna be really focusing on today is this bearing puller right here. I had to borrow this one from my workplace. I tried picking one up from Harbor Freight, but it was a little too small for the differential bearings, the carrier bearings, and it was also like way too thick. There's a tiny little gap in there that you have to slide the very bottom portion of that puller into to get that bearing up and out. But I checked AutoZone, and I've seen a couple videos where people use the one from AutoZone, so if you can't find one from Harbor Freight, I recommend you go check out AutoZone for your bearing puller needs. Alright, so I got everything set up on my desk here. Here is the Type R LSD. And basically, these bearings are going to have to come off because they won't work in my transmission. And here is my stock GSR differential. I got to take these bearings off very carefully because I'm going to need to be reusing them. And then I'm also going to have to take off this ring right here. This is called the speedo ring or speedometer ring. Basically, this is the one that tells your car how fast you're going. It butts up to a little sensor in there. And then I'm going to have to install the outer ring gear on there as well. And we already checked, this one will fit. So let's get started. There it is. So here's that one. I would definitely not reuse this. Now let's see if we can take the one off my stock differential. This one should be much easier since it allows you a little bit more of a gap there, and there's just a lot more metal to hold on to. There we have it. So the next thing I'll be removing from this GSR differential is this speedo ring gear here. Shouldn't be too hard to take off since you have kind of a lot of area underneath it to clamp on and lift it up with. So let's take that off real quick. That. Off she goes. Pull the one off the Type R LSD. I don't know how well this works. Well, that bearing's destroyed. Alright, so here's the predicament we're in now. Trying to pull that lower bearing off the Type R LSD didn't go so hot. As you can see, the outer race kind of exploded off of there, got all bent and the rollers went everywhere. And the inner race is still stuck onto the LSD. Fortunately now, it looks like I can clamp onto this lip here that was left behind after everything ejected out of the bearing. Because before I was trying to clamp underneath the inner bearing here, and yeah, there was no way this was getting under there. I was trying, and it's just it's just not having it. It's close, but it's not skinny enough. And if I were to grind it down, it'd probably be pretty dang weak and probably just bend down. This also isn't my tool, so I really shouldn't be grinding down on it. Hopefully, I can clamp around this part right here, and the day will be saved. I can pop it off, and we can continue on our little project here. Seems sturdy enough. Hopefully it works. Well, would you look at that? We managed to get it off there. Fought us a little bit, of course, but when working on cars, not everything goes smoothly. And obviously this bearing is buttered toast. We won't be reusing this one. All right, we don't have to. At this point, we're done pulling everything off the differentials, and we could focus on installing the GSR bearings onto the Type R LSD here, as well as the GSR Speedo ring and the final drive ring gear. So, should be a little easier to install these things instead of pushing or pressing anything on there or pulling it off. All you gotta do is heat up these bearings real hot, and they should just drop right on. So, hopefully it goes as smoothly as that, but we'll find out. Alright, please, please. Oh, done. Easy. Look at that. First try. Oh, I suppose now we can move on to the top bearing. Get at it. Alright, let's get it, baby. Ooh, that is huge. Alright, we got it on. One more to go. Alright, fast, done. Alright, so at this point we got our old GSR stock differential all the way stripped down. We can set this off to the side, probably gonna end up selling that thing, and we can finish up this Type R LSD. Everything's mounted up and it's now nice and cool to the touch. So putting on the final drive ring gear, pretty simple. This one you don't need to heat up. And then I've got all my bolts saved. I'll be threading these in. And like I mentioned in my last video, these are kind of weird. They're reverse thread, so you actually tighten them up counterclockwise.
Yeah.
All right, and here you have it, a complete built Type R LSD. Let's go throw it in the trans. So there you have it. That is an Integra Type R LSD installed in an Integra GSR transmission, which will be mated up to a Honda Civic Del Sol block, which will be thrown into my Honda Civic EX Coupe right here. So glad it was easy enough to follow along, and everything went fairly smooth. So a couple rough patches there, but glad we got through it. Editing today kind of sucked, so it's gonna be a real late video. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Crafting Cars. Bye.